I'm in my belly shining bright, diamonds dancing in the night, Ferrari parked under moonlight, living fast.
Welcome, everybody, to a Kiki conversation. I am
Thank you.
here with a host of amazing people who will now introduce themselves individually. My name is Malika Grant, and I would love to begin with the mother of the House of Vlam. Would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I am a mother of the House of Vlam, known as Vlam or Michaela, and 95, I'm known as Michael. I'm the founder alongside K Dollars of the House of Vlam.
Courtney?
What's up, everybody? I'm the father of the House of Vlam, K Dollars, aka Callow Canterbury. I'm a DJ. I've been involved in the scene for many, many years, and yeah, I'm so excited to be here and talk all things ballroom.
And hi, I'm Courtney Divorced, the voice behind BB Productions, and dare I say, the legs as well.
And definitely the abs. Courtney has amazing abs.
Allegedly.
It's a pleasure to be here with each of you tonight. So, the House of Flum and BB Productions have been so generous with your support and your creativity in bringing the first Kiki Ball to George. I am not a George native, but I am a George resident and I love living here. And one of the things that I love about the city of George is that I call it a quietly cosmopolitan space. So we're not Cape Town and we're not where we used to be when I first came to George, was very Afrikaans and very, very conservative. We have a lot of people who are moving into the space and a lot of people who are culturally aware and very curious. And people aren't really familiar with ballroom. It's more something that is in the bigger cities, your Durbans, your Cape Towns, your Joburgs. And us being so close to Cape Town, we're so privileged to have your support and showing and leading us the way. So the first question I have to either the mother or the father, maybe both of you, is what is ballroom and what specifically is a Kiki ball?
Okay, I can start. So ballroom culture started in the late 70s, early 80s in New York City. It was made by queer and transgender black and brown people. So the pageant queens back in the day was facing, I think, racism at the white pageant balls in New York, and they wanted a space for themselves, the black and brown people, to thrive, compete, and be celebrated. And then ball started as a protest, I guess, back in the day. Houses formed as well. Houses obviously have mothers and fathers, and they would look after queer youth back in the day. Because in the 80s, obviously, if you came out, it was a lot different to what it is today, and they were put on the streets and were often homeless. So mothers and fathers would actually physically house the kids and look after them, but make them walk the balls on weekends and win trophies and stay off the streets and stay off drugs and things like that. So in ballroom, it is a place for us to thrive and to survive. It's also a place where we can, I guess, practice how to survive on the day to day. So we have things like best dressed, we have things like runway, there's things like realness, where trans people, aim to, pass and be real, and be a normal, boy or real boy and girl. There's things like voguing, obviously, is very popular in the ballroom scene. We have things like body. We look for every body type from muscular to skinny to big to small. Everything is welcome in body. We have things like face. There's things like lip sync as well. So it's a space where everybody is welcome. Everyone has a kind of their certain niche in ballroom, and you can win trophies and compete in your lane. Yeah.
I love that.
Just to add on to that, I think we just to get into the difference between main scene and Kiki. Main scene houses come from your sort of founding houses, the houses that have founded the ballroom scene back in this in the late 70s and early 80s, like Michael was referring to, your LaBeijas, your Ninjas, and so forth. Whereas Kiki is more comes from the streets almost. It's houses that have formed as the scene has grown and blossomed. Main scene represents a more formal entry into the scene. It's a more formalized ball where there are a little bit of stricter rules and we refer to people differently in those spaces. Whereas Kiki is more of a learning space, more of a teaching space, more rough and tumble, come as you are. So both sides of those of the ballroom scene, it's almost like a yin and a yang. No part is more important than the other. Main scene is not more important than the Kiki scene. Both of them come together to sort of create the scene that we know and create a little bit of harmony. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I heard you say that a kiki is more for anybody who it's more rough and tumble. So is it correct to say that it's not quite as refined as mainstream? The reason I ask this question is because, people are asking, is this event open to anyone who wants to come? So a ball is or was created for queer people to have a sense of community. But now that we live in a world where people are trying to be better allies and normalizing queerness so that it's not a fringe identity, do you think that balls should be exclusive spaces, or are, people who are not queer also welcome in those spaces?
I think as someone who's been a DJ for so long and have to experience queerness and put my queerness into different spaces, and then having a culture like ballroom, I think it is very, very important that the space continues to highlight queerness. People outside of the space are welcome as long as they are intending to do the same. They are there to platform queerness. They are there to support it. They are there to be allies. Please come, please learn, please embrace the culture. But it is a queer platform for queer folks. We're not shunning anybody at the door, but we want everybody to come as they are and come respectfully.
Yeah.
Yep. Courtney, is there anything, I see you nodding, is there anything you want to add to that?
I actually had a conversation with a heterosexual performer who was actually invited to participate in the sex siren category at one of the legacy balls.
Mhm.
And this performer was uncertain because they felt that it would be inappropriate for them as a straight person to enter a queer space and perform for them, or do, snatch a trophy.
Mm.
I firstly humbled her by saying, "You're probably not going to snatch a trophy."
That's correct. Correct. Correct.
Um, and I told her that everyone's welcome at Ballroom as long as, like was said earlier, if you come respectfully.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the only points that needs to be like at the top of the list.
Yeah. I wanted to add also at our functions, we say OTA and it means open to all. So even though it's ballroom houses and obviously us who are there as regulars, it's open to really anybody. As long as you come and you are respectful and you listen to the rules, then it's open to all.
One of the things that we hear a lot about in ballroom spaces is shade and dragging.
Yeah.
What are the circumstances under which one might be drugged? Like, what are the rules that everyone tries to avoid breaking so that they don't end up being drugged by another house?
I think on the scene, I think at our functions, at the Kiki functions, we often try to, I think, start off the categories with the certain rules of the category and say what to do. I know at our functions, we also try to have like a little showcase as we start and say, okay, it looks like this, try to do this. So obviously we often have ballroom virgins, ones who haven't walked a ball before, and we have grace for them to understand that these people, it's their first time, they're nervous, they aren't sure what to do, and that's okay. But I think it's going to be shade and dragging if you come to the category and you aren't coming correct. If you know what to do and you are either drunk or you want to make a scene or you want to just act a fool, then on the mic we will drag you. I will take you off my stage and tell you come back next time and come correct.
Okay, now.
Yeah. Ultimately, that would probably lead to a chop. So you either get your
Yeah.
tens if you walk that category and the judges love you, and then you'll stand to the side to compete in a battle, or you will be chopped and booted off our stage. With respect, with love. We always try and
No hard feelings. It's not
there's always
personal. A chop is a
yeah,
chop. Get off the
yeah.
stage.
A chop is a chop. It's still competitive. But again, at a Kiki scene, you're more likely to get a teachable moment where we'll say, this is why this person was chopped. Learn from their mistakes and come correct next time.
Yeah.
Courtney, have you ever seen anybody chops before?
Have you been chopped? It's a very
Um,
average price as well. It's very humbling.
yes, it is. But chops are delicious.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I was not on
Lamb
theme.
chops.
Yeah.
You were not on
I was
theme.
not on theme. I thought my simple little blue earrings would pass as wearing something blue. Mm-mm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Was politely booted off the stage.
That is so, Courtney, you
But I
are
could
here
still get you.
representing BB Productions, which provides a wide range of entertainment, but mostly the burlesque scene, right? Um, a lot of people think that burlesque is basically striptease. Can you tell us the difference between what burlesque is and what people stereotypically think of burlesque or what they think it is?
So I would say burlesque is definitely striptease, but it's more the art of the striptease. And the important thing to note about any form of art is that it is so multifaceted, it is so layered in its complexities. You could use burlesque to tell all kinds of stories. Um, like I, for one, use it to express my femininity. Um, some people use it to empower themselves. Some people use it to be funny. I've seen some incredibly hilarious burlesque artists. So it's entirely up to you what you want to make of it.
Mm,
But ultimately, yes, striptease is an element, but only as much as you're comfortable with as a
mm,
performer.
mm. One of the things I learned from Betty is that there are different types of burlesque. There's draglesque, there's burlesque. Can you tell us about some of the, I guess, more popular ones, or even some of the ones that we may not know about?
Hmm. So we can obviously start with like your classic burlesque that started in like the late 1800s as like a commentary or satirization of popular works of the time. Because burlesque in I think in Italian means joke or mockery. I think the official word is burlesco.
Mm,
Um, and then you've got your more outlandish ones, like your draglesque. That would essentially mean a drag artist doing burlesque, which is something that I do.
okay.
Um, and what else? Oh, there's nerdlesque, where you know, do a
Cool.
science experiment on stage or whatever.
Oh,
There's another one, foodlesque. That was quite a fun one. I've got a foodlesque act where I make pie,
I
and it's a
love,
lot of fun. So burlesque is boundless.
I love that. Burlesque is boundless. That belongs on a t-shirt.
Mm.
Mother Plum is does burlesque typically feature at a Kiki ball? So what is happening with George's Burning is that you have brought in the Kiki ball element. I had no idea what a Kiki ball was. I just knew about ball generally, but we're mixing in all these different acts and elements. Does that take away from what's the word I want to say? I guess the what's the undilutedness of Kiki,
Mm.
or is it okay to have all these different elements that are not traditionally in this kind of space?
I think it's okay. I think in Cape Town, because we have so many different scenes and niche scenes, but it's all under, I guess, like a queer umbrella or like a femme umbrella, we tend to, easily, I think, mix things together. Like at our functions, we often have a halftime show with a drag performer doing a lip sync number. So I think us, like having a burlesque element isn't going to be outlandish. So in Ballroom, I think it isn't the burlesque, I guess, category, but Sex Siren is, I think, close to it. So in Sex Siren, we don't want to see you naked, obviously, on the stage, but we want to see you sell your sensuality, entice us. I guess for us as well, that's allowed definitely, and sell your sex to us. Essentially, make us want to get in bed with you.
Mhm.
So that is quite similar to burlesque, and we often see like if people who is in that scene walk that category, and we've seen people like, I think, Courtney, I don't know if you've walked Sex Siren, but in our house, Kendall, she does burlesque and she is a Sex Siren champion on our scene.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
the performers work really well in our Sex Siren category because it's quite, I think, similar in energy and nature. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it also depends on the theme of the ball. because you
Yeah.
could have a very, very sexy theme that leans into the burlesque, whether it's Moulin Rouge or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. You can lean into that element quite a bit.
Yeah. Our theme is Big Extra. Thank you to
Mm.
Courtney for coming up with the theme. Because we're like, you know, if we're gonna do this, let's make it big. And if it's gonna be the only one we ever do, let's make it as extra as possible.
Mm.
I've seen some balls where it's masquerade. I've seen a lot of masquerade balls. What are some of the different kinds of balls that aren't so mainstream, typical that you've either hosted or been to? And this is a
Mm.
question for everybody.
So I think at the masquerade balls, I think those are actually completely different to what we do. I think it's often confused. I think because other names are very similar. So it's masquerade balls, is ballroom dancing, as in Latin dancing, and then there's ballroom.
Mhm.
The ballroom that we are part of is not really tied to those. Our balls have a range of themes. I've seen balls from end of the world to sports balls to under the sea balls to a pink ball. Just everything is pink. So we often have like a theme per category, or a color scheme or a dress code. That's how our balls look. I haven't really seen actually a masquerade ball in Cape Town or overseas really, and they aren't as popular in the ballroom queer scene. But in the queer ballroom scene, there's any kind of theme, anything literally you can think of. There's been a ball about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also just in my experience in Joburg, Vogue Nights has recently partnered with Eden, who is more in the kink space. So
Yeah.
they would have masks at their ball, but it wouldn't be your
Yeah.
typical masquerade mask. It's more your pop masks, your um, femdom masks, things like that, of that nature, where ballroom now leans into more of the kink side of things, another element of queerness that we try and incorporate in the space.
Hmm. Courtney?
What was the question originally? Sorry. I'm so blown away by all the things that people are
I
saying.
know I'm learning so much. No,
Yeah.
I was asking about some of the types of balls that you've attended or the themes that maybe
Hmm.
stood out to you.
So, one of the themes that the more morbid stuff always stands out to me.
Mhm.
I do love getting gory and getting messy. So I would like to say the end of the world ball. I would have loved to have attended.
Mhm.
Armageddon.
I've
Yeah.
only attended like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that it,
It was
just all
funny.
of that just visually looked so appealing to
Mm.
me. So anything that gets messy, I'm there for it.
And we like Messi on our scene,
We
trust
love
me.
Richie.
Yeah.
I just find it so fascinating that ballroom has ways of connecting so many different queer spaces. I mean, we've got the kink scene, we've got the burlesque scene sort of involved in there as well. I know the drag artists have been going to balls and been
Yeah.
making balls
Yeah.
happen. Um,
Mm.
it's just so
It's
affirming to
very
know that.
interesting, I think, because if you look at pop culture and ballroom, it has influenced so much of rap, of hip hop,
Mm,
of R&B, of pop music. All the words you use now, as in clocket and shade, all comes from ballroom.
Yeah,
So if you really look at the roots of it, ballroom has influenced so much of our daily lives, of what we, watch on Instagram, what we do on weekends. It all often stems from ballroom, and I
yeah,
think that's why everything easily can, I think, I guess, intermingle back into it because it comes from it at the
yeah,
end of the day.
yeah.
and
Yeah.
the
Yeah, we're
children
seeing it.
don't even know.
They
They
don't
don't
even
even
know.
they don't even know.
All these straights are
Um,
saying all these things, and I'm like, that's from the 80s, from
Yeah,
New York,
Mhm.
and they
yeah,
don't even know. Yeah.
Yeah, we can agree that at the frontier of pop culture has always been black and brown trans women. They
yep,
Yeah.
started this shit,
yep,
and
Yeah.
now it's becoming more and more mainstream. We're seeing it all the time. Even ballroom music now is starting to cross over to gqom,
Yeah.
to hip hop. It's being sampled and referenced quite a bit, not just the language like Michael touched on, but the actual sound of your Vogue beats.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm, 100%. You actually bring me to a question that I have been curious about for a very long time. So, Mother, you talked earlier about how ball came from New York in the 80s and the 90s, and
Mm.
now we have houses here in South Africa. I never, thought I'm sure when those mothers started those houses back then, they were thinking about their boroughs in New York and didn't think about how
Mm.
South Korea,
Yeah.
Johannesburg, like the reach. I'm half Ghanaian, and right now we've got a bill that has just been passed. It's the anti-LGBT bill. They're calling it the family values, whatever bill
Mm.
that criminalizes queerness and homosexuality and also criminalizes anyone who's an ally and doesn't report someone who is queer or identifies as LGBT, because it's this idea that queerness is un-African. How did you, as someone who, or all of you actually, as South Africans, how did you find connection with this culture that originated in New York, and how have you made it your own? Because a lot of people think it's copy and paste, but I'm sure there are things that you do that are very unique in the South African context while still having a connection to the roots from the 80s and 90s
Yeah.
in New York.
Yeah, I think I'll start personally first. I think I've always, been a bit more different. I mean, I'm naturally more feminine, even though I'm still a man, I'm more feminine. So I often in society, I haven't always felt like I fit in, you know? And then as I came out when I was in my late teens, I found boredom, I found voguing, I found a space where people like me were, celebrated and put on pedestals, and could walk and win trophies. So I think I very easily just fell into boredom because it's where I can truly be myself. I can be expressive. I'm known for best dressed. I love conceptualizing outfits. I will come with a huge outfit and gags and stunts. That's my thing. That's where I feel at home. So I think that's why it's been easy for me to fall into boredom. And our scene is very big on respecting the roots of boredom and the rules. Like we are very big on that. We often have overseas houses. We have chapters here, and they will come over sometimes and they will watch our functions, and we want to always make sure that our scene is being respectful, um, and and besides that, even though we want to stick by their rules, we also are making it our own. So we have one category called African performance, which is it's a dance category, and we put on our kind of music and we dance our dance, and the best dancer will win a trophy. So even though we stick to the overseas rules, we still try to bring in Cape Town, South Africa, into our scene, to include our culture into it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Michael. It is about finding a space that you can call home and feeling accepted there. I think the roots of where ballroom comes from in New York is not very far from our doorstep, where there was a lot of racism involved, and that was the reason why they felt that they needed to split. They probably felt marginalized as femme and trans beings as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So I think that what is worldwide and universal, what can be translated, is that model of the family structure.
Mm.
Um, how they've interpreted it from then and how it's grown and how we've sort of developed our own little families in that.
Yeah.
That you have this accountability with the parents, you have the safety for the children. Everybody's got their little role to play in the family, and being able to showcase that as a family together, snatch trophies, feel good on that runway, get that little bit of adrenaline, confidence, and find that sense of community. That's what is universal to me and why it works everywhere in the world.
Mm.
Yeah.
Courtney, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I genuinely do believe that the family connection felt within houses is a feeling that I think all isolated queer children deserve.
Yeah.
They deserve that love, they deserve that admiration, and that boost for
Mm.
showing them that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're here, we're together, and we're unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
Yeah, I've got a sense
final,
of what
okay.
that's like in my drag house. It's good to have.
Yeah.
So if you're a queer child out there and you're all alone, just find a mama,
Yeah.
find a
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah.
She's there
Mm.
for you.
Yeah. No, I love that. I was going to ask one question, but I think I want to end with what you have just, mentioned, Courtney. I think that especially here in small cities like George, which is not quite a Place d'Orby, but it's not like as big and as expansive as a Cape Town. How would someone who is feeling lost, who is looking for a mother, looking for a father, looking for a home, how might they reach out and find a family? Because I can imagine that's I can't imagine the isolation that comes with being, kicked out of what is supposed to be your family. How
Yeah.
does one go about, finding family?
I think,
Um, go
oh,
for it, go for it, babes.
okay. I can speak. In the house, I'm known as being, I think, overly fertile. Love a new child. We currently have 6 children right now, and the house has told me, no more, we are done. So my tubes are tied for now. Um, but I think I'm just a nurturer by nature. So I love mothering where I can. So I have many people I think there's one boy who's close to George. I think there's two femme little boys in the Eastern Cape as well who have DM'd me and they ask for advice here and there, and they look up to me in the house. So even though I'm not physically that side, I will speak to them. I'll give them advice. I've had people I think I was in Durban side said, I think I'm trans. What do I do? So I said, look, I'm not trans, so I can't speak on this, but I can tell you what I've done as a queer person and how I've found myself. So I guess for now, the answer would be like a DM, well, is a good start to it. And hopefully we can start a scene in George and then have mothers, rise from that, or even, across the country and have more access for queer youth who need a house to
Yeah.
join. Yeah.
Yeah, to add to that, I was gonna say pretty much the same thing, is that the world is a big place, but the internet makes it a lot smaller and easier to connect.
Yeah.
So I think not just our house, but a lot of the houses in Cape Town, um, I think that they all feel a sense of responsibility towards community, and you could probably DM any one of those houses, and they would
Yeah.
be glad to coach, to mentor, to offer advice. Um, our scene is growing at a very rapid pace, and the bigger it gets, we would love to incorporate different parts of the country into what is ballroom in South Africa, because that is the unique little pieces that shapes the identity of the whole scene.
Mm.
And I think there's nothing more beautiful than the start of a community of people who are truly there before each other.
Yeah.
I've had the privilege of like watching a lot of the houses form and build and bond over the years, and as well as various other groups of queer people who just share the same interests. And I think if you're out there and you're all alone, just put something out there. Say that you're a queer person who likes watching Drag Race. Next thing you know, you've got 10 people over at your house watching the episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make community
Mm.
because we're out there.
Yeah. Love it. And truly, truly, last, what do you, as my esteemed colleagues in this crazy little enterprise that we are attempting, what do you hope that people will take away from George's Burning, um, and learn from you once you come into our little city?
I think if people know what boredom is, or often just like the broader queer scene, I think people see it as a lot of partying, maybe just being lit on weekends, sleeping around sometimes, whatever. I think I want people to come to the function and see it's a lot more than just that. Yes, we love a jewel. I love to dance on the weekend, but the spaces that we create is a space of, I think, healing and acceptance. I
Mm.
always love to say at the dance floor is where I found my healing and I found myself,
Mhm.
and I want them to leave the function and to see that it's so much more than just a party. It really is community. It's a space where you can find yourself. It's a space where you can come, relax, and be celebrated
Yeah.
on a stage. So yeah, I think that's what I want them to leave with after they leave George's Burning.
Mm.
Yeah, for those brave enough, I hope that they leave with the adrenaline rush that comes with putting your feet on that stage for the first time, and walking that runway and getting your tens.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, right? We want people to get their tens. We want them to feel that high, that rush of the ballroom, catch that bug, and then come find us in Cape Town and come and attend the balls more regularly, and maybe even start a proper scene in George. Yeah, like full on regular
Yeah.
balls in George. We would love to come down more.
Love. Yeah.
And Courtney, you have the
I,
part thought?
I think there's no other way to describe one of the feelings I first felt when I stepped up on stage and showed myself to the world.
Mm,
It was so liberating. It was so enriching. It really gave me a boost to be the person I am today. And I wish nothing but that for whoever decides to come through and put themselves out there. Because if it can make me a happier person, it can make you a happier person too.
Yeah. Oh, I learned from Duran Bernard that it's this, not
The
this.
middle
Yes.
finger.
He was
Yes.
like,
Not
it's
that.
not pre-cum, it's clock it.
No,
Yeah.
this is how you know somebody's straight.
Yes, I hate that. The middle finger. Please,
It's
guys.
like, y'all, you gave yourself away.
Yeah, exactly.
House of Vlam BB Productions, thank you so, so much. This was amazing. I have learned a lot and I cannot wait for our audience to learn more. Please follow House of Vlam at the House of Vlam
Yes.
on Instagram and BB Productions at BB Productions.
ZA.
Is ZA, yes. On Instagram as well. All of their links will be in this. Thank you all so much. This has been fantastic.
I'm in my belly shining bright, diamonds dancing in the night, Ferrari parked under moonlight, living fast.